going to show you the parts of this, and then I'm going to take it apart. I think that's probably the best way to show you how to put it together, because honestly, I can't remember. It's a puzzle for me every time. First, there's this, which I think I'm going to call the knob, like butterfly knob. On old wind-up toys, I think sometimes it was called the crown or the key, but it's attached, so I'm going to call it the knob. So that's one piece that I'm holding now. I'll take it apart pretty soon. And then there are two pieces that hold it in place. And they're attached to the bender with, I think, some 3/4 inch number 8 screws. So the hinge for this is just 1/4 inch. That's a 1/4 inch hex bolt. And I believe these screws are all 3/4 inch. These might be smaller. They might be number 6, 1/2 inch. I'll be able to tell when I get them out. So first, let me take this part off. What does that look like? Yep, I think that's number 6, 5/8 of an inch. So that's these. And then to hold this together, I've just used 1 1/4 inch drywall screws. I like the fine thread, but you wouldn't have to use fine thread. So there's that piece, and then this piece. They fit together like that. And then this turns around, and there's a hole going straight through here to there, and a hole going straight through there to that side. All right, that's that. There's this platform that's got, this is not a raster. Raster I feel like is too slow. I think I just used a vector cut to cut these numbers and those lines in there, but I did it on really fast speed and low power. So this platform looks like it's screwed on with a number 6 5/8 inch screw. Oops, I've been saying 5/8 inch, but I've been showing you 1/2. I think all these are 5/8. So that is held in there by the screw, but it's also held in place by these little thingies, which I believe are symmetric. So if you were going to assemble this, go like that. There's another one, that one stayed in there, and you can see the little notch right here that this is going to go into. There. So I put it back in, taking it out again. I'm going to pull this one out. At one point, these weren't a very good fit. I think I fixed that, but you may find that they're not a good fit. You might have to do a little sanding, like the end of these is sanded. So it's possible that this stuck beyond the surface. You don't want that. You can tell it's actually a little bit recessed right there. Okay, so taking that off. This one over here is the same kind of deal. Number 6 5/8 inch screw there. You could probably get away with other screws. Looks like originally when I made this one, I forgot to make those cuts. I hope on the files that I provided, they're there. I think I fixed it for another teacher who was using these to make automata. All right, I believe these are all 3/4 inch. Actually, you know what? Before I do those, I'm gonna take the hinge apart. Oh, and show you this. You can see here, I have sanded off a little bit of this corner and a little bit of that corner. That allows me to squeeze a little bit harder. I was squeezing and then these corners were hitting and I felt like I wanted to squeeze a little more, so I sanded that off. Did some other sanding just to make this more comfortable. So I had a washer on one side, but not on the other. Nothing special, no good reason for that. So each of these sets of holes is 2. And on one side, I screw a screw in, like on the left, and then the other side, I screw a screw in on the right, so they don't run into one another. So when I did this, I clamped these 2 pieces of wood together, to try to make sure that they were held tight. Probably could have used longer screws, but it just seemed like this was a good way to do it. Instead of having screws going all the way in, they're sort of clamping the thing. That one right there, I wish I could retrace my steps, but well, let me put this back together. This is recessed, so it looks like I bore this out a little bit so this screw doesn't stick up, and that's because this mechanism here has to fit over it. See if I can put this back together. All right, there's that. And there. Oop. So it screws on like this. Screw through here and a screw through there. And if these are sticking out, then it doesn't fit in there really nicely. It looks like I just dealt with that one, but this one I recessed. It'd be a good idea probably to go back and do that one too. I'm not sure why I had that extra hole right there. Oh, so, okay, backing up. Those two holes, those are actually the holes that these screws go in. So this is the only one that needs to be recessed. Hopefully, those exist in the file that I gave you. And if they don't, I'll see if I can add them in. But you may have to drill those. You may have to just hold this up next to this, mark where they go, and then drill some holes. Can't really remember. All right, so here are the pieces. That's one of the two arms. And then the other one looks a lot the same. But this other one has 3 of these circles for the hinge. The other one only has 2. So these 2 go in those 2 slots. Right. That's it in reverse. Good luck. Here's another view of the parts, and this is the kind of file I'm going to be providing, probably an SVG file with just the lines. When you do the laser cutting, I recommend cutting all of the things you see there as vectors, and either before or after cutting these numbers as vectors, but do it on really low power and high speed so that they're crisper than if you use a raster. Right now everything's laid out to fit on a 12-inch by 24-inch bed. A lot of people have glow forges, so I can shrink this down a little bit and give you a couple of options. In the video where I disassembled this, I wasn't really sure if I had holes for here and for over there. So let me just touch on that for a second. If I hide this, you can see there is indeed a hole, and there's a hole over here too. So there will be holes. You don't have to drill holes for those. The other thing though that does need to be done, let me hide this, hide that, hide that. When you put a screw in one of these holes down here, the head is going to stick out a little bit, so you'll need to remount this hole a little bit so you can get the screw recessed, so that when you mount the 3D printed part here, it can sit flush against the wood.